what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from downtown Baton Rouge. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from our studio downtown in the capital city on this Football Friday. Means we're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Jacob Betts, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up, you're here with us. Hope that work week is in the rearview mirror. If it is not, we'll get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Preston Guy with us in 15 minutes. He's from TigerBait.com. Break down LSU and Louisiana Tech. May look a little bit back at Clemson as well. We got an NFL football weekend to get you ready for at 1:30. Saints and Cardinals. We'll preview it and give you our pick at the end of the show. I got to pick SEC games against the spread. We'll do that at 2 o'clock. I've got some keys for LSU as well as take it or leave it. Lots and lots and lots to do. But listen up to this. We're going to start with our Genesis opening drive in a second. We'll get to that. But we're going to start off the show real hot, okay? So keep this in mind. If you are listening in Little Rock, Arkansas, or the Panhandle of Florida, I appreciate you very, very much. You probably don't need to pick up the phone and make a phone call unless you're driving here really, really quickly. If you are in Baton Rouge and you would like a case of cold Yingling Flight, we have 3 of them. I need you to call and pick it up. We got 3 24-packs, tailgating tomorrow, perfect timing. 225-499-1045. First 3 callers, Beck's going to answer. Get your name and information. We'll have a case of beer, but you have to pick it up today by 4:30. You have 3.5 hours to get your beer. 499-1045 is the phone number. Give Jacob Beck a phone call. He's right there. He'll pick it up. He'll get your name and phone number, and we will get you taken care of. We're downtown in Baton Rouge, so if that doesn't work for you in the next 3.5 hours, do us a favor and don't call. But Yingling Flight wants to give you some cold beer, so Beck's going to take care of you right now. We've got the phone lines already lit up, so give us a phone call. We will get you taken care of. These are my favorite shows of the year to do. I do shows in Omaha, Nebraska that I love doing. I love LSU basketball as well. We do some things on location. There are probably weekends more impactful than LSU and Louisiana Tech on the gridiron. But these Friday shows are just fun. There's a routine to them. We do the same thing every single Friday in terms of the NFL slate and the SEC against the spread and our picks at the end. And the vibes are just good. I'm fired up to be here. I know that the last 4 years we have done these shows after a loss. Well, there's a win. And there's a coronation and a welcome party that's going to go on here inside Tiger Stadium coming up on Saturday. And I'm really, really fired up to get things rolling over the course of the next 2 hours. It's a special weekend for the Palmer family as well. My parents are in town, and my dad's going to take the Myers man to his first LSU game coming up tomorrow, which is a big deal for our family. Unfortunately, I got to go work, so I can't be there for all of it. I can be there for some. He'll see me pregame, and I'll be able to sneak over there for a little bit of the game action. But I'm just fired up that the Myers man is going to get to go in there. He's beside himself with excitement. So it's going to be a big weekend for the Palmer family. LSU and Louisiana Tech tomorrow at 6:30. Before we get things started officially for today and get into the real content of the show, I want to remind you about our broadcast schedule tomorrow. It's the same as it was last week for a 6:30 kickoff. This actually kickoff is pretty close to 6:30. Remember last week we were telling you, wait, it's 6:52. This one's closer to 6:30, just a few minutes after 6:30 tomorrow between LSU and Louisiana Tech. Eagle 98.1 Game Day fires up from Rouse's on Burbank. You can catch that show at 1:30. Matt Musso and Charles Handegriff for 3 hours from Rouse's. They'll hand it off to the LSU Sports Radio Network. That is me, Brandon Taylor, Marlon Favorite. We'll be in the Tiger One Village right there between the ramps to the Assembly Center from 4:30 to about 6 o'clock. Toss it inside to the broadcast team 30 minutes after it goes final. Me, Brandon, and Marlon back on the network post-game show. And then 90 minutes after the game goes final, Charles Handegriff and Richard Dixon from right here in the studio. They'll have your Eagle 98.1 post-game show. So 1:30 start tomorrow on Eagle 98.1. all the way until probably 1:30 or so in the morning, maybe after that, for your LSU and Tech content. Let's get it at LSU and Tech. It's our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
All right, look, not a lot of intrigue in the matchup this week, right? And I'm not trying to break that game down significantly. LSU is a very, very talented team. It's in the top 5. Louisiana Tech has been on hard times in the Sonny Cumbie era, and last week wasn't very inspiring as they beat Southeastern 24-0. I'll talk a little bit about Tech as we move forward, but I want to really focus on LSU because that's the most important thing in this game. Y'all have heard me now for 3-4 years talk about press conferences, talk about quotes in player interviews, and devalue a significant amount that we hear from coaches and athletes across the sports that we cover. And I stand by that, generally speaking. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's just something that I've learned over the course of going to a lot of press conferences and conducting a lot of interviews. A lot of players and coaches get onto the cliches, and they don't generally say a lot. Doesn't mean it never happens, but it doesn't happen a lot. But I have, to that point, heard a lot of teams talk, heard a lot of players talk. I've covered terrible teams. I've covered championship teams. And this is early, and it may be prisoner of the moment type stuff. I am fully admitting that to you right now. I'm not preaching this as gospel. I'm making an observation that I think is worthwhile of bringing forward. I really, really, really like the way this team thinks and talks. It's early. They've played 4 quarters of football. We got 3 months of this to go. But what we know is that this is a very old team. There were 2 guys in the starting lineup of the top 22 last weekend that are second or first year players. You had Caden Durham, and you had basically McKinley, Bro, whoever was in there at a given time. But essentially, you had old guys. Woodland started. I think the starting tackles were maybe Guillory and Gooden, who didn't qualify as first and second year players. Trades Green scored a touchdown, played a lot. He's a second year player, but Bauer Sharp started. It's old guys. Nussmeier's old. Braylon Moore's old. On the offensive front, Tyree Adams, year 3. Josh Thompson, year 4. You're looking at guys that are old. Braylon Moore's old. Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, old. Jack Piber, Weeks Brothers, Gooden, Guillory, Mansour Delane, A.J. Halsey, Jordan Gilbert, Harold Perkins. Old. And these guys, to me, the way that I watch them play and the way that you hear them talk and then the way that the coaches talk about them, there seems to be unity in the way that they talk. They all talk about 1-0. They talk about a nameless, faceless opponent. They talk about the process. I wrote a column on LouisianaSports.net this morning that laid out all the quotes that we heard from West Weeks and Mansour Delane. I asked Mansour Delane, like, is it going to be tough to kind of get up for the next week? And he was like, not at all, because that game's over, and we got much bigger goals than beating Clemson. They're locked in. And I like the way that sounds. It sounds a lot like the 2023 baseball team to me. And I heard those guys talk for 4 months, and they were immensely talented. And they had a cheat code at the front of the rotation who's going to win the Cy Young this year. But LSU's got a really good quarterback, and that defense looked awesome. And we know the playmakers that are on offense. And I'm not going to sit here on the Friday before they played Louisiana freaking Tech and tell you they're going to win the national championship. I'm aware that there is a recency bias here and there's a bit of a prisoner of the moment thing here, but I'm just telling you what I like watching this team and listening to this team talk. And we talked to Wes Weeks on Wednesday about last year's Nichols game. And he said, yep, didn't have any edge. Did not have the edge. And he admitted that. I said, well, what do you think about this year, this week? It's different because y'all won last week, but USC to Nichols, Clemson to Louisiana Tech, there are parallels there. And he said, completely different. I thought Tuesday and Wednesday were our best 2 practices of the year. That's what Wes Weeks told us. And you hear Brian Kelly talk, and he talks about having a veteran team. And he talks about how these guys are accountable and how he's got a great leadership group. And they were focused in the portal and pulling in guys that they thought could add leadership with their talent. Leadership without talent is good. It doesn't win championships. You got to have both. And right now, it feels like LSU has both. They got a long way to go. They got a lot of good teams on the schedule. And our conversation completely changes next week against Florida when you step back up in class. But when I watch this team come out of the tunnel tomorrow, I think Louisiana Tech is in for a world of hurt. Keep in mind, Nichols was within 2 points midway through the third quarter last year. They couldn't shake the cobwebs. I think LSU is going to just eviscerate Louisiana Tech tomorrow. And that really has no bearing on what they do the rest of the way, because if you beat Louisiana Tech 58-0 or 35-20, it doesn't really matter. It's not significant. But I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be an evisceration, because I think this team is going to show up focused, disciplined, and give one hell of an effort tomorrow night in a celebratory Tiger Stadium. Like, that's what I think. And we'll see what happens with Florida that next week, and then you've got basically 2 weeks off with Southeastern and an open date before you really get into it. But you played a really good team last week, and they were focused and locked in and ready to play. That defense did not commit a penalty in the game. That defense did not allow a run of 10 yards in the game. They were not gashed for big plays at any point. The offense stuck to a plan, running the ball, stuck to a plan with a short passing game. I thought the execution was very, very good. They missed a field goal. You fumbled on a poor coach's decision to go for it on fourth down. It wasn't perfect, but it was really good. And there's just a lot of really good vibes coming out of that football program right now. And I probably wouldn't spend a segment to start the show talking about that if I really needed to dive into, well, how does LSU block this guy on Saturday night? Or, man, what a quarterback this guy is. How do they deal with him in this way? What do they do with Harold Perkins? You think you can stop this type of receiver who's got this body set? Like, that's what I will generally be talking about on Fridays. It doesn't apply this week because Louisiana Tech's completely overmatched. My big takeaway from this week, and a lot of it had to do with being in that room interviewing the players on Wednesday night, which I wrote about at LouisianaSports.net. There's a real unified message and delivery from this team that is mature, that is focused, and we already know just how good the talent is, and I believe in that coaching staff as well. I think LSU's on to something this year. I really do. And you can call that prisoner moment because they just beat Clemson. Call that, a deflection because they're facing Louisiana Tech and you're not breaking down that game. I'm just telling you how I feel. And half the time I get accused of being a homer. Half the time I get told that I try to be too pessimistic. I just call it like I see it. And I see this team being pretty damn good. They got a really hard schedule. You never know over the course of a season what breaks you get, what injuries crop up. You're not going to be completely healthy the whole time, and they got a long way to go. Saturday is going to be a lot of fun. Campus is going to be fun. The stadium's going to have some buzz to it because of the win last week. The team's going to take the field with the Golden Band from Tigerland out there, and I think LSU is going to really come out and play a great football game against Louisiana Tech. And then you move on to conference play next week, and it's going to be one heck of an environment inside Tiger Stadium for Florida. That's, to me, the big narrative from this week. I wanted to lead the show with that. We still got something to talk about. Like, I'm going to talk to Preston about this game coming up, what he's planning on seeing. I've got some things actually on the field that I would like to see in this game. We've got to talk about the Saints and Cardinals as well. So lots and lots to do. Lock us in on this Friday edition, brought to you by Quartz.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is that website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. David told me in our last meeting last week, he's like, hey, a lot of the houses that I'm seeing right now are between 20 and 30 years old. If that's the case for you, whether you built that home or you moved into it recently, if that's the age, that's when a lot of times bathrooms start to get dated and start to lack functionality. You see bathtubs start to leak or things start to build up. You see some rust or things that just over time get to a point where you probably need to do something about it. And if you see that going on at your home, in your bathroom, David is happy to take a look. Just because you call David doesn't mean you're in for X amount of dollars. The consultation's free. David can come in, give you his expert opinion. He's been doing this for 3 decades and tell you what he thinks should be done. And then he'll give you some options. You sit down with him and you plan out how you want it done. They're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. Don't just call the guy down the street to come in and try to patch it up. Call the company with 30 years of experience that's licensed, bonded, and insured to take care of your bathroom. That's what One Bath and Closets can do for you. Check out their work at onebathandclosets.com. It's David Duvall and One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Huge shout out to our winners of some Flight by Yingling on this Football Friday. David Bailey, Jeff Morgan, and Al DeLuca going to be drinking some Flight by Yingling this weekend. I don't really care where you drink it. My preference would be that it would be on campus, because I hope you're going to be out there tailgating, getting ready for LSU and Louisiana Tech. If you're not, that's okay too. They go down just as smooth at the house or at somebody else's house if you want to make that happen. But enjoy that Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Congratulations to y'all for winning. NFL tiers coming up in 15 minutes. We'll talk Saints. Chase Young was not at practice today. I think that's a big deal on Sunday. I will tell you before we get into Saints preview, which is a little later in the show, I give the Saints a chance to win on Sunday for sure. There are going to be some games where I look at it and go, they cannot win that game, even though it's the National Football League and you say the end of given Sunday and all that kind of stuff. There are some games I'll like, they're not going to win that game. This is not one of those. I think they could beat the Cardinals. Without Chase Young, though, that's a big deal. I could make the case he's the best player on the team. I don't know if I would try to make that case, but I could. So without him, I don't love that odds on Sunday. Let's talk some LSU. Preston Guy, TigerBait.com, joins us here on this Friday. Preston, how are you, sir?
All right, how's it going?
It's really good. We won a game last weekend. I like that. I sometimes I have an idea of what we want to talk about here, and sometimes I just kind of want to let you direct the flow of it, and we'll do that. So I'll leave it very open ended. What'd you learn last Saturday in Clemson?
Well, my overall takeaway is, hey, buckle up. I don't know exactly what's going to happen this season, but I do think this is going to be a special season to remember. That defense is much better than we could have expected, and I think the offense performed well despite getting beat in the trenches. I think they called a good game plan, and they should have won comfortably in that game. And the fact that LSU comes away with a top 5 road win, and you're still looking at the team and saying they didn't win by as much as they should have, I think that's pretty indicative of what a talented roster you have. So, I liken this win. There's only a handful of wins, early season major wins, that I can compare this to. And, you go back to 2003, Georgia. That was a huge win early in the season. 2007, Virginia Tech. That one was massive. 2011, Oregon. 2019, Texas. Those are all teams that went on to play in the national championship. And those are the only early season, first big game wins that I think that LSU's pulled that matches what they just did this weekend. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't know what happens, but buckle up. Should be fun.
It's an interesting thought. I've not paralleled all those. I think the Oregon one was natural. Of course, I was sitting next to Brandon Taylor doing the post-game show, so that immediately comes to mind. But the other ones, not terrible comps either. You mentioned the game plan. Did they do that because of Clemson's defensive front, or do you think that's the identity of this offense?
Well, I would suspect that it'll be the identity of this offense. First off, they didn't spend a small amount of time installing those plays. In fact, if you go down the list, they had some crazy game plan call. I mean, my goodness, we saw a little bit of it with the Juwan Johnson Wildcat stuff in practice that we didn't even see in this game, by the way. But they're calling reverse wide receiver passes. They're doing motions, which intentional motion, by the way. One of the big differences between this and what Matt Canada was just doing a bunch of motion to cause general confusion. And a lot of offensive guys were sitting there questioning, like, why are you doing that? Because your offensive linemen don't get to sit still and get in their stance and go. Yet they were using it to deceive. They had, receivers go out in motion. Well, then the backer bites on the guy in motion, and Nussmeier checks it down to the guy inside. He's got a bubble screen set up with the backer scraping with his momentum carrying him away. I mean, it was a good game plan. I think there was a few things about the in-game decisions I really didn't like, but that was a good game plan. I don't think that's a one-off thing. I think they're going to continue to do stuff like that throughout the season, in major part because they know that Clemson won't be the last elite defensive line. And frankly, if you want to win it all, you need to be able to go up against teams that are going to whoop that O-line's butt because I still think that's the weakness of the team, but I think they're calling a game plan to assist with that.
What do you think of the Caden Durham, I use air quotes here, more traditional run game? I know the creativity you liked. What do you think of their just ability to hand it off and go get some yards?
Yeah, well, first off, Caden Durham was doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the running game.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at that big 25-yard run, that's not blocked well, okay? He breaks the tackle and busts it outside. By the way, on a little bit of film review of that play, Barry and Brown gave up blocking on that play because he thought he was down or, knew the play was going backside. If he even impedes the DB, that's a touchdown. So very frustrating to watch that, but you understand why it happened. It's just football's a funny sport where if you play to the whistle every play, you'll be shocked at how many additional plays you will make based on you projected in your brain that the play was over and you can't do anything, but then some craziness happened. So, Caden Durham, I think he did an excellent job in that game. Hey, don't fumble after you score the touchdown. Hold on to that ball. But thankfully, the plane of the end zone saved him.
All right, let's talk about the defense. What was your favorite part?
The dominance. Is that a good enough answer?
That's a great answer. I liked it too.
Yeah. I mean, look, we haven't seen defense like that. That felt like an early Les Miles era victory. Remember when they would just go out and kick people's ass game one?
Yep.
And it was lights out defense. And the offense was always good enough. I mean, there'd always be a little bit of lunacy here and there, but ultimately you could trust that defense to go out and do its job. That looked every bit like a traditional golden era LSU football team, and that was refreshing.
As far as the defensive backfield go, they had to move a lot of pieces around with the Halsey first half suspension, and then Stamps didn't play. What'd you make of that group in the secondary, and how do you think that group evolves?
I think the fact that Ashton Stamps didn't record a snap, that speaks volume to how much more talent there is on this team, because this is a guy who's been a crucial part of your defense the last 2 years, a guy who came in, and remember, Matt House preseason was just didn't have enough praise to throw at him. They were so excited about his future, and now he finds himself in certain games where he's not good enough to crack a single snap, and that's just it's not even an attack on Ashton Stamps and what he's done. It's just think about how much more talent they've added to this team. It's kind of crazy, but yes, Mansour Delane has looked. I mean, we've been telling y'all every practice in fall camp, he's elite. He's a good tackler. He's great in coverage, and he looked every bit of that in this game. And I think that Halsey was actually better than I expected. When he came back in the second half, he clearly provided a difference. Although Jordan Gilbert and everybody playing that back role, they played serviceable with, the other 10 guys stacked, but Halsey really brought that to a new level. So, yeah, no, the defensive backfield, if I had to pick a weakness on this defense coming into the season, that was where it was going. I'm not so sure I'm going that direction anymore. They're good.
Let's talk about LSU and Louisiana Tech. On the LSU offense, what would you like to see in this game? Could be a reserve in the second half, could be a stylistic thing.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Other than keeping Nussmeier healthy and, let's go up, 4 or 5 scores and get him the heck out of the game, because his right arm will carry you where you're going to go this season. But what I would like to see is that offensive line dominate a lesser unit, okay? If you can come out and defensive lines that aren't, that crazy unit for Clemson we just saw, and you can go out and easily run the ball for 150 and, bust open wide holes, that's going to help you through this season. You're not going to have to reveal your entire chaos playbook, I guess is what we'll call it, to against lower teams. You don't have to empty the playbook. Just go out there, go get your 4 or 5 yards per carry, just traditionally. That's what I would like to see offensively. Just dominate lesser talented players.
And as far as the defense goes, is there a player or two that you'd like to see get some run here?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of guys I'd like to see, step up. Obviously, I think that Clemson game was tight enough to where you have to keep it pretty vanilla in terms of your rotations and stuff. You have to go with trusted guys. But I'm thinking guys like DJ Pickett, I'd like to see him get more than 25 snaps. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more rotation on that defensive line, maybe more Gabriel Relaford, who's had such a strong offseason. It looked like he was going to be the starter, but, he really rotated in and out a lot. It was a quiet night for him. So really that whole second-team defense, I would like to see them rotate in. CJ Jim Poyley is a guy who I think's got a lot of talent. I would love to see him go out there and see what he can do. Just let's see if you can get some reserves and work in depth. Not necessarily like you bench your whole first-team defense in the second half and now you've got garbage reps. What I'm talking about is in the first half when the game's competitive, can you rotate more bodies in while it's a competitive game and develop some of this depth? It looks pretty talented. It looks pretty darn talented, but I'd like to see them actually get on the field with more bodies than they did Clemson.
Feels like it could be a good fall for those of us in the LSU content game. Tell everybody where they can find some of yours when they're looking.
Yep, just go to tigerbait.com, guys. We're posting everything we do. If y'all want to just keep up with my little anecdotes and short little stuff, y'all can follow me on Twitter, pguy77, and we'll put all our content there. That's where you can get us.
We'll see you in the press box on Saturday night. Thanks, Preston.
All right, see you, Hunt.
Preston Guy, tigerbait.com with us on Fridays. Our Friday shows brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. I know a lot of y'all headed out to campus. Corks happy to help you cater that tailgate, but you're having a group just at home in the air conditioning to watch some football on Saturday, you want to feed the masses. Cork's always great with their tailgating. Big trays, that jumbo Gulf shrimp, crispy fried catfish, shoestring fries. They got you covered with the hush puppies. The slaw can handle you on the honey butter rolls as well. And all the Cork sauces that come with it. They got your cocktail sauce, tartar sauce. I love the Cork sauce, ketchup as well. They got you covered. CorksFishandShrimp.com is where you can find the menu. We will step aside, get you ready for week 1 in the National Football League next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club, Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Brand new here in Baton Rouge. Segan at Perkins. Get a membership. Gives you a place that you know you can go, reserve a bay, work on your game, or just have some fun. It's there to socialize, drink a cold beer, grab a glass of wine, and work on your golf game, or play one of the famous courses from around the world on that simulator. Bring in some friends, watch some football. Those memberships are affordable, under $200 a month. You can get a corporate membership or a personal one. Socialize, as I mentioned, work on your game. It's all there at Swing Easy Golf Club, Perkins at Segan. You know that the elements can be tough around here in Baton Rouge. It can be very hot. It rains every afternoon in the summer. It can in the winter get very cold. It gets dark very early. Can't go after work and hit golf balls. None of that matters at Swing Easy Golf Club because it's indoors and you can handle your business there right there on the simulator. I just invite you to go on by and try it out. Go by and see what they're about at Swing Easy Golf Club. You don't have to be a member to go in. Book a tee time online. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Swing Easy Golf Club right here in Baton Rouge.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories,
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
have a streak longer than any team in the National Football League, and it's a positive one. We'll talk about it coming up in about 12 minutes as we close out hour number 1. Saints Cardinals Sunday from the Dome. Noon kickoff as the black and gold get the Kellen Moore era underway. A lot of other NFL action that actually started last night in Philly and went late into the night, way past when I went to sleep. They were still in a lightning delay when I hit the pillow. But we got a whole weekend to get you ready for. Let's do it the way we do every single Friday with our tier list. Tier 4. All right, this is the bottom of the food chain. Only 2 games. There's a lot of good games this weekend. These 2 do not qualify. Panthers are at the Jaguars. The Jags have lost 6 straight games in September. Panthers were the worst run defense in the NFL last year. Seems like Etienne and Tank Bigsby could get going for the Jags. I don't expect much out of the Panthers this year. And then the Raiders at the Patriots in Tier 4. Will Campbell's debut for the Pats. That's the local angle here. The Patriots are favored for the first time in 17 games. That's the longest current streak in the National Football League. Let's move up to Tier 3. Dolphins are at the Colts. Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane are expected to play for the Dolphins. The tight ends killed Miami last year. This is Tyler Warren's debut there in Indianapolis, so we'll see how that goes. The Colts, 2-12-1 against the spread in Week 1 over the last 15 years. I don't know if that's applicable year to year, but it's a horrendous trend for the Colts, so bet the Dolphins if you're looking to keep on that. Steelers are at the Jets. Can we call it a Rodgers Bowl? How about the Fields Bowl? All I know is it's the first matchup of quarterbacks who played for the other team last year in the history of the National Football League, with those 2 quarterbacks going head-to-head. The Giants are at the Commanders in NFC East showdown. Start number 200 for Russell Wilson. He's the 16th quarterback all-time to do that. Washington won the 2 games between those 2 teams last year by a total of 8 points. Do you think they can continue to win those tight games? I hope so, because I'm pulling for Jaden, but they got to get things off to a good start at home against the Giants. And then the Titans at the Broncos. Number 1 quarterbacks overall, like Cam Ward, 4-15-1 in season openers as rookies since 1967. Might not be great for Cam Ward against Pat Surtain and company there on the Mile High City. That's Tier 3. Here's the good stuff. Tier 2. Bengals are at the Browns. Myles Garrett has 10 sacks against Joe Burrow in his career. That's the most he's sacked anybody, the most Joe Burrow has been sacked by anybody. He's also hit Joe 20 times over the years. The Bengals, 1-11 in weeks 1 and 2 since 2019. That has to stop. I know it's on the road, but it's the Browns. They've got to find a way to win an opener.
It doesn't have to stop, hon. It can continue.
It needs to stop. It must stop.
It might not.
It's imperative that it stops. I have no other way to say it. Bucs are at the Falcons, NFC South showdown. Tampa will not have left tackle Tristan Wirfs, will not have top 2 wide receivers in Godwin and McMillan. And Atlanta's won 4 of 5 against Tampa. Can the Falcons get off to a hot start in Week 1 in the division? 49ers are at the Seahawks. San Francisco just 6-11 last year. Sam Darnold brought in to make his Seahawks debut here. Christian McCaffrey, questionable. Had a calf issue crop up this week. That happens all the time to him. We'll see if the 49ers can right the ship here, but they got to do it on the road at Seattle. And then Texans at Rams. I like this game a lot. Texans' offensive line is really completely retooled. They've got a rookie starting, and the Rams' front 4 is elite. So we'll see. Matt Stafford, bad back. Got a disc issue, but it's his 16th consecutive opening start, which is pretty impressive. We'll see how healthy he is at home against the Texans. I have both those teams in the playoffs. And then Tier 1, I've got 3 games in Tier 1 this weekend, a couple of them in prime time, starting tonight with the Chiefs and the Chargers. Patrick Mahomes, 82.6% winning percentage in September. That is second all-time to Roger Staubach among starting quarterbacks in the NFL. The Chargers last year, new coaching staff, you might have heard of them, 13-4 against the spread. They're really, really coaching that team well, and I think the Chargers make a leap this year. They may win tonight. The Lions are at the Packers. That's a good one. Shout out Kelvin Shepard, former Tiger. He makes his defensive coordinator debut for the Lions, who are replacing both coordinators. Jordan Love did not throw an interception in his last 7 games last year. I got the Packers in the Super Bowl this year. We'll see how they get off to a good start in the division. And then the Ravens and the Bills in prime time. The Bills beat the Ravens in the divisional round last year. Lamar Jackson turned the ball over 3 times in that game. When he turns the ball over twice, the Ravens are 1-6 in his tenure as a starting quarterback. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, first and second in the MVP voting last year. The last time first and second in the MVP voting from a year prior met in the opener, well, it hadn't happened since 1970 at least. So that is your look at the National Football League. Going to be a good weekend of NFL football. Nothing highlighted by Ravens, Bills, Lions, Packers, and Chiefs, Chargers. Those are all monster matchups.
Yeah, they are. And it's really a shame that Cowboys and Eagles game looked like it was going to turn out to be a good one, and they had the weather came out, and then the fourth quarter was just a total disaster. They were punting back and forth to each other. Not a great. I was listening to live at lunch earlier. Max had the over on that one, and they had 40-something points in the first half, and then 3 in the second half. Not great, but there's a lot of good ones. And I really
speaking of that, there's got to be a lot of reasons, but there are plenty of apparent ones why I don't spit money on sports.
Yeah,
things like that.
Things like that. Yeah,
you had 40 points through 2.5 quarters, and you can't get the last 10.
Nope, can't get it. But the Bengals and Browns. I don't think
surely
they're not.
They can beat the Browns.
They're 5.5 points favorite. That's a pretty big number.
It's a huge number, but they never beat anybody. The Patriots beat them last year.
Yeah, they
in Cincinnati.
They can't beat anybody in the
My
first 3 weeks.
Survivor pick lasted 3.5 hours.
Not good.
I don't understand. We'll see. Like Joe, if they win in this game, and I don't know who they're playing next week. If they win next week, he's gonna have to play every preseason game his whole career.
Well, I wonder what because obviously their record has been so poor since he got there in the first
1
3 weeks.
1-11.
But I wonder
weeks
what.
1 and 2.
And I'm guessing his stats are probably not very good for that either.
No, he turned it over a bunch. They had a Cowboys loss in there, just an ugly a Browns loss that was awful. The Patriots last year, I recall some of it, not all of it. I know that one of the years they played the Ravens, which is going to be a tough game to win no matter what. But it's just Cleveland's the only bad team in that division, so you need to take advantage of it. It's just a bit of an issue when your offensive line is your biggest question mark and Myles Garrett's on the other team. Yeah,
2022 is they lost to Pittsburgh in overtime and then Dallas the next.
And that was a heinous Pittsburgh loss.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah, it was terrible. That's ridiculous. All right. Let's talk Saints and Cardinals. Stick with the NFL theme to close out hour number 1 coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Jonathan Carver and his team, phenomenal folks to work with in the insurance game. Y'all know I did it for 7 years, so I can still speak the language a little bit. They're experts. They know what they're doing at the Highland Insurance Group. So if you're looking to make a phone call for your commercial insurance, say, hey, I need you to save me 18% at renewal. This is probably not the phone call to make because they can't just snap their fingers and find a cheap policy. What they can do is make sure that when you spend your business's money to buy an insurance program, no matter what it is that you do, that it's the proper insurance program placed with the proper market that's going to respond properly when something happens. Because the reason you buy insurance is not to make sure it's the cheapest at renewal. The reason you buy it is when something bad happens that can derail you from a budget perspective, that doesn't happen because the insurance policy is there to help. You don't know when that car accident's coming. You don't know when somebody's going to hack into your system and freeze it from a cyber perspective. You don't know when there's a lawsuit that's coming or a hurricane that just shows up. And when that does happen, it's good to know that you got a great insurance program. And the Highland Insurance Group will help you do that. Call Jonathan and his team. Check them out online, HighlandIG.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you, our mobile bank.
You're listening to The Hun Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Swing on by, get a late lunch there. They're on Government between Foster and Jefferson, looking for a po' boy. They got a killer shrimp po' boy. Knock your socks off over there at Corks. You can eat in that newly renovated dining room or get on by the drive-thru. They're happy to have you over there at Corks. Check out the whole menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. Black and gold, time to play some football. Saints and Cardinals, noon on Sunday in the season opener, and I didn't realize this. I mean, obviously, I was aware of the occurrence because I'm covering the team here, but I didn't put this together. The Saints have won 6 straight season openers. That's the longest active streak in the National Football League.
So they're the bizarro LSU.
Yeah, like LSU can't win in a season opener. The Saints win every year. They've won 6 in a row. No NFC team has had a longer streak than this current Saints streak since the 84-92 Bears. That includes the 85 Bears, maybe the greatest team in the history of the NFL. You can listen to the Patriots, who just lost in the Super Bowl. You can listen to the Dolphins that went undefeated, but you can make the case the 85 Bears are the greatest team in league history, and that era of Bears football is the only NFC team that's won more season openers. So we'll see if the Saints can continue that streak at home against the Cardinals. And I don't think the Cardinals are going to be great. Like, Kyler Murray's just been a meh quarterback. Marvin Harrison had a mediocre rookie year, especially compared to, like the 2 guys from LSU that went out and had monster seasons. And you look at the line, like it would indicate that the Cardinals are a significant favorite. You're looking at a 6.5-point number right now across all the lines that I'm looking at. I give the Saints a fighting chance to stay competitive and to win this game. This is a wrench that is thrown into that, though. Chase Young did not practice again on Friday. And he wasn't there. And if you don't practice on Friday, your odds of playing on Sunday are not very good. And that is a difference maker on this Saints team that is kind of lacking difference makers. Like, Alvin Kamara is a heck of a player. Are we going to call him a difference maker at this point in his career? I don't know. Behind that offensive line, probably not. You don't have one at quarterback right now. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed are nice wide receivers. Are you going to put them in the S tier of NFL playmakers? Probably not. Juwan Johnson at tight end. Demario Davis is such a good player. Is he a true difference maker at inside linebacker? You don't have a true number 1 corner right now. Safety looks okay with your 2 additions there. But like Chase Young at his best can wreck a game. Chase Young at his best might be the best player you've got on your team. So his potential unavailability is concerning. It sounds like Alontae Taylor is going to play. He did return to practice on Wednesday. He's missed several weeks with that groin injury, but I think he's going to play, and I expect Alontae Taylor to have a really nice season. It'd be good to see him out there, and I think Kool-Aid McKinstry could evolve into a star. And I think the Saints have the guys on the outside to hang around. And then you look at the interior, like I like Devon Godshaw. I like Brian Brzee. I think Carl Granderson has more in the tank than he showed last year. And I think the Saints can hold up on the defensive side of things, but I'd really like him with Chase Young. And without him, it feels like Kyler Murray is going to have a little bit more time to improvise and make some things happen the way that he does. So I don't expect the Cardinals to come out and score a ton of points in this game, but I would like the Saints defense a lot better if Chase Young were out there. Now you flip it over to the biggest unknown here, and that's the Saints offense. We were excited for different reasons to watch the preseason. Like, what does this look like? Who's going to be the quarterback? But as Kellen Moore said on our airwaves with Jake Hester and Matt Flynn, like, pretty vanilla in the preseason. And you saw that. There was not a lot of meat on that bone for us to analyze in the preseason. Well, the gloves come off in this game. I expect the offense to look different. Now, whether or not it's productive, that remains to be seen. Spencer Rattler did almost nothing to inspire a lot of hope last year because he had almost nothing to work with. No offensive line, no playmakers at wide receiver, banged up running back. There was nothing there for him to do anything with, and that should be a little bit better this time around. Your offensive line is relatively healthy, Penning not withholding, and then you've got Kamara healthy, Olave and Shaheed healthy, Juwan Johnson healthy, no Taysom Hill, no Foster Moreau, but like relatively solid cast of characters around him, and they ought to open up the playbook here. This is one where you got to go out and kind of pull out a lot of stops to try to win this game, because this is one of the more winnable games on your schedule in my estimation. So this should look different. Whether or not it functions differently, we'll just have to see. This offense is doomed if they cannot win at the point of attack. And in the preseason, they were terrible up front. Like, the tackles, when they were out there, which wasn't a ton, held their own, did a solid job. The interior stunk. Now, Radens is likely to play in at left guard, and then you're going to have a full game of McCoy, which certainly helps. Ruiz has to play better. If those guys fail, this whole operation is toast. If those guys play well and allow Kamara a little bit of space and allow Kendre Miller a little bit of space and allow Rattler a little bit of time, maybe you can see them move the football a little bit on this Cardinals defense that is okay. I think the Cardinals are a league average team. I don't think they're anywhere close to the 5th best team in the league. I don't think they're that close to the 25th, 26th best team in the league. I think they're closer to 15, 16, 17, 18. So this is an opportunity on your home field to see how you stack up against the middle of the league. And I'm curious to see it. I give the Saints a real chance to stick close in this game. Rattler cannot turn the ball over. And then you got to hope that the defense can contain Kyler Murray from running around a little bit. I'll give you my pick at the end of the show today. But I will tell you that I think this game is close with 10 minutes to go. Now, I probably trust Kyler Murray to make plays at that point and to do the right thing more than I trust Spencer Rattler, who's not had a lot of experience in that moment. But I think that you got a shot. With a home crowd and some playmakers, hopefully there's a little bit more opportunity to put the ball down the field for the Saints, and hopefully they can keep this thing close and find a way to win it. The crowd may not be full throat. You look at the secondary markets, it's not super inspiring, but it's one of the games the Saints can win. And what a great relief that would be to get one early here for the Saints. It would be awesome. So, again, a pick at the end of the show. Excited for the Saints to get going. Very curious to see how Spencer Rattler looks in an offense that we have not seen. Make no mistake, we have not seen Kellen Moore's offense here. But the offensive line is absolutely and unequivocally the key to this game. Because if they can't protect up front and they can't get push up front a little bit in the ground game, this thing is absolutely toast because the Saints don't have the guys on the outside of the quarterback who's going to be able to make things happen from that perspective. For those asking about a potential quarterback change at some point on Sunday, no. This is Spencer Rattler's game, barring an injury. I don't think he can play poorly enough to pull the plug after 3 quarters, especially when Kellen Moore said, no, there's no musical chairs here, like Spencer's our quarterback. Now, I expect that to change in October, November. But for Sunday in the Dome, week 1 against the Cardinals, Spencer Rattler's game. Rock and roll, lights are coming on for the Hoodats. Noon on Sunday. Hopefully they can get off to a good start. Ross Jackson's all over the New Orleans Saints, LouisianaSports.net. If you're looking for injury reports and preview of this game coming up on Sunday, he's got it all right there for free. If you're looking for my Saints content, Hunt on Saints is where you can find it. Hunt on Saints, wherever you find your pods, or on YouTube as well. Busy first hour. Talked about LSU's focus and my feeling on this team at the top of the show, and Preston Guy kind of echoed that in our second segment. You can find all that on demand wherever you find your sound. Hunt on LSU is where all my LSU content lives. So we opened the show with that, then got you ready for the NFL weekend to come with our NFL tier list. Busy hour number 2, very much looking forward to it. I'm going to give you my thoughts on what LSU needs to do in this game on Saturday, regardless of competition. Some things I want to see, some players I'm interested in seeing, have some take it or leave it, and my final picks for LSU and Tech, as well as the Saints and Cardinals. When we come back, after SportsCenter's national headlines, SEC picks against the spread. Not the sexiest slate of matchups, but I'll give you some picks against the number. Coming up after SportsCenter, The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is that website. I think a lot of summer vacations are in the rearview mirror. School's very much in, and maybe your long-distance drives are done for 2025. But if they're not, or you're going on a road trip to an LSU football game coming up in the coming weeks, don't want to put those miles in your car, or you just like to see how a Genesis drives, they will rent a vehicle to you. If you've never really explored that option, something that sounds new and fun to you, go check them out. They're Airline at PQ, happy to get you in a rental so that you can experience that Genesis difference behind the wheel. It's a great way to introduce yourself to a vehicle while not putting excess miles on yours. And then at that point, by the time it's time for a new one, you'll know where to go. That's, of course, Genesis of Baton Rouge. The entire inventory, all of it, is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. You can get by and see them. Airline at PQ across from Women's Hospital. Genesis of Baton Rouge online. GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful communities.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Bankin. The second game of the NFL season takes place tonight in Brazil with the Chargers battling the Chiefs. Kansas City has dominated in recent meetings, winning the last 7 against L.A. However, the past 3 games have been decided by one score in the final 7 minutes of regulation. The first game of the regular season took place last night with the Eagles beating the Cowboys, and defensive lineman Jalen Carter was ejected after spitting on Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott. ESPN's Chris Canty says the NFL may give a harsher penalty to the defensive lineman.
The refs were absolutely right for tossing him out of the game, and this ain't going to be the end of it. Jalen Carter is going to get a hefty fine, and I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL decides to sit him down next week, too. So
Carter has since apologized for the incident. Miami tight end Darren Waller is doubtful for Sunday's game against the Colts. He is dealing with a hip strain. Patriots cornerback Christian Gonzalez will not play in the team's opener on Sunday against the Raiders due to a hamstring injury. In baseball, the Cubs lead the Nationals at Wrigley Field 6-0 in the third. Tonight, the Yankees host the Blue Jays in an AL East showdown. Toronto enters tonight's game with a 3-game lead over New York in the AL East.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty, coming up Monday, week 1 in the NFL, college football, and of course, Major League Baseball. And I'll recap it all in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from downtown Baton Rouge, this is Hunt Palmer.
Hour number 2, final hour of the week here on the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Friday coverage all day long on your football Fridays. It starts 7 to 10 with Off the Bench from Rouse's. Then you got Live at Lunch, 10 to 1 from Ruffino's. I'm right here, 1 to 3. Matt, 3 to 6. And then Kay Wasan takes over at 6 o'clock with Louisiana Prep Preview. That leads right into Catholic High football at 7. So we are live and local from 7 a.m. to about 9 o'clock p.m. right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Obviously, very obviously, Jacob Beck is super excited for the SEC football action to come this weekend. Could not even wait to press the button for my electrifying SEC picks. So let's get to them. We'll do it chronologically, 6 and 5 week in week 1. We'll start 11 o'clock ABC. San Jose State is at Texas. The number's 36.5. The Spartans lost 16-14 to Central Michigan last week. Central Michigan head coach Jim McElwain, former Florida head coach. Points are going to be tough to come by for San Jose State. Texas is going to run the ball a ton. They'll probably get Arch some easy throws. I think they cover the 36.5. They've got to bounce back and play a little bit better than they did, especially offensively last week. Their defense is good. Got to play better on offense. I'll lay the 36.5 with the Horns. 11:45 SEC Network. Utah State at Texas A&M. You got it right. Battle of the Aggies in College Station. 31.5 is the number. When I watched the highlights, I didn't watch this game, but I did watch the highlights. Marcel Reed, made some pretty good looking throws. The arm looked pretty good. Their defense wasn't great. They gave a big play in the third quarter to UTSA. Utah State, I think, is going to score 14 points. I don't think A&M is going to score 45. So I will take Utah State, and I will take the 31.5 points that come with it. I'm not taking a number on the FCS game, so Austin Peay at Georgia, I will pass on that. 2:30 on ABC, Ole Miss at Kentucky. Ole Miss at Kentucky. This is the stupidest point spread I will see all season, and it is in week 2. This makes no freaking sense.
But does it?
Kentucky is only getting 8.5 points. They should be getting at least 15 or 18. Zach Calzada last weekend, by the way, that's Kentucky starting quarterback if you weren't aware. He's in his 413th SEC program. He was 10 for 23 for 85 yards and an interception against Toledo last week.
The Rockets.
You know how you always say, like, oh, well, if the line's stinky, like Vegas knows something? No, Vegas doesn't know anything. Vegas is idiots. This is absurd. Ole Miss is going to be in a cranky mood because they lost the playoff last year because of Kentucky. 8.5 points. I would lay 20 in this game. Give me a break. This is not a stinky line. This is a mess up. It's a typo by Vegas. This is the easiest bet I'll place all year, even though I won't actually bet it. But easily, the Rebs.
Tough environment, huh? In the grocery store.
The big grocery store, yeah. Rebs by 20 at least. All right. East Tennessee and the Vols. No thanks. Not going to pick that one because there's no line. Kansas at Missouri. There's a line on that one. 6.5 is the number. This game is in Columbia. Jalen Daniels, not to be confused with Jay Dunn. 7 touchdown passes in 2 games for Kansas. I just never think Missouri is as good as their record, and I think the record may impact the point spread because of the way that people bet, not because Vegas is dumb about that. I think 6.5. I would rather 7.5, obviously. But I will take Kansas plus the 6.5. I think they've got a better quarterback, even though it's on the road. Give me the Jayhawks and the 6.5 points. SEC Network, 3:15. South Florida at Florida. 17.5 is the number. A lot of people focused on this because South Florida looked good in kind of a primetime spot against Boise, and not a lot of people think a lot of Florida these days. Jaden Ball could be the first team All-SEC running back. I think he is very good. We'll talk about him a lot next week. He's the Gators back. Florida needs to get Eugene Wilson III involved a little bit more. 5 catches last week, which is okay against Long Island. He did it for -4 yards, so they got to get him a little bit more involved. I think everybody's going to be on South Florida. 17.5 is a lot. I'll take Sunbelt Billy and the Gators and lay the 17 and a hook. All right, into the afternoon, 4:10 on ESPN Plus. Arkansas State at Arkansas. 23.5 is the line on this one. Arkansas State played an FCS opponent last week, Southeast Missouri. But their quarterback threw for 345 yards. 10 guys caught a pass. I think Arkansas's defense stinks. And I think that Arkansas State can move the ball through the air. The question is, can they stop Bobby Petrino and Taylon Green? That remains to be seen. I think they can. Give me the Red Wolves plus the 20 and 3.5. Yeah, and War Memorial. This is just an absolute dump. I think Arkansas wins by 17, 20 points. I'll take the 23 and a hook with that one. South Carolina State's at South Carolina. Don't care about that one. FCS stuff. 6:30 ESPN. Number 13 Arizona State at Mississippi State. 6.5 is the number. Bulldogs catching points at home. Arizona State, not very good last week against Northern Arizona. 38-19 is not all that impressive. State played pretty well, meaning Mississippi State, at Southern Miss last week. At 7.5, I think I would take Mississippi State, but it's only 6.5. Mississippi State doesn't have a lot of talent. I think Arizona State's a fraud. I don't think they're very good. I don't care about Kenny Dillingham. Sorry, Jake. But I do think they're going to beat the worst team in the SEC by more than 6.5 points. So I'll take Arizona State minus the 6.5. All right, ACC, 6:30, big one. Michigan at Oklahoma. Big brands. 5.5 points. The Oklahoma Sooners are favored. I have said for years that I thought Brent Venables and the scheme he had in front of Joe Burrow in the Superdome was really impressive to me by my novice football eye. And now he's going to have a pretty good defense that's got some talent on it against a freshman quarterback who's never played an environment like this and has never seen a defense do these kinds of things. This is not sour grapes on the Bryce Underwood thing, even though I'm not thrilled that he committed to LSU for a year and a half and didn't come to LSU. This has nothing to do with that. This is a freshman quarterback who's never done anything like this on a team whose offense was beyond atrocious last year for a head coach that I don't think is any good. I think Brent Venables is going to make it a long day for the Michigan offense. So I will take Oklahoma, and I will lay the 5.5 points and feel pretty good about that. 6:30, Ball State at Auburn, 43.5. Ball State had 203 yards and no points at Purdue last week. That's not good offense. So I'll take Auburn minus 43.5. That's the breakdown.
That's a lot
of this game.
That's a lot.
A nice effort by Auburn last week against Baylor. I think they score 55 points in this game, and Ball State may not score. ACC Network, if you got it. 6:30, Vandy at Virginia Tech. Revenge spot for Virginia Tech. They are 2.5-point favorites on their home field against Vanderbilt. I watched some of Virginia Tech last Sunday. Their offense was not good. Kenny Drones, their quarterback, completed just 43% of his throws, threw 2 interceptions. The team ran for 3.1 yards per carry and without a rushing touchdown. Like, it wasn't a good effort. Virginia Tech's defense did do a decent job against Lenora Sellers. It didn't let him run a ton, even though he did run for a touchdown. They got 4 sacks in the game. Beck.
Don't say it, Hunt. Don't do it.
Virginia Tech minus the 2.5.
Oh, my
you know
gosh.
why? Because Vanderbilt doesn't have good players.
All right. Why. You're gonna regret that.
Virginia Tech. Lane Stadium. Inner Sandman. The Hokies. Maybe Beamer's there. Probably not. All right. 6:45. ULM at Alabama. 34.5 is the number. I have just great memories of being in Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, Oxford, Mississippi, as before the smartphone era, 2007. My dad was texting me updates for Alabama and ULM in Saban's first year.
The kids that were born during that game are 18 now, huh? Does that make you feel old?
I'm old. That's just what it is. But I remember that day. ULM's not going to beat Bama, but I want more carnage. I want more Bama fans going cranky. Give me the ULM plus the 34 and a hook. The Warhawks. Shout out Tim Brando. Shout out Tim McGraw. Shout out Ben Sheets. Shout out. Anybody else go to ULM?
Jake Browning was a good quarterback.
Jake Browning used their quarterback for a while. They had a Bowden coaching them for a little bit.
Yeah, Terry.
Who else? I don't know any other
ULM. Who played? Did he play basketball?
Mark Laird's older brother, Matt Laird, who played against me in high school. He went to ULM.
There you go.
Randy Ziegler, former LSU baseball player, transferred to ULM, started against LSU in the regional for ULM. I think I've taxed
Doug
my
Peterson.
ULM. Doug Peterson, Super Bowl coach. Absolutely. I think I'm low on ULM alums. That's Northeast Louisiana alums that we're dipping into there. So, all right, that's my picks, and I'm sticking right there with them. Texas minus 36.5. Utah State plus 31.5. Ole Miss by 100 over Kentucky. What a ridiculous line that is. Like Kansas plus 6.5. I'll take Sunbelt Billy and the Gators minus 17.5. Arkansas State catching 23.5 in Little Rock. Arizona State minus 6.5 in Starkville. Oklahoma covers the 5.5 against Michigan in Norman. Auburn on the Plains minus 43.5. Vandy, don't have them. Taking Virginia Tech minus the 2.5. And the Warhawks of ULM plus 34.5. That could be a perfect slate. If I go perfect in week 2, I got a good chance of staying above 500 for the year.
I am right there with you in wanting to see ULM somehow keep this game within 40 points, but I have a very strong feeling that Alabama's going to be very upset with what happened last week.
What if they just stink? What if they have a bad coach and a bad quarterback and they're just not good?
But ULM's not very good, huh?
You don't know that. You hadn't seen the Warhawks play.
Okay, well, I can tell you that they beat St. Francis, which is a FCS team, 29-0.
But they have God on their side.
Well, that's true.
He's a deity.
That's true.
St. Francis. Pope Francis.
You know what? You're making some good points, Hunt. But I really do think
this is what these non-conference games do to us.
Yeah.
In the middle of October, we can't have these conversations about potentially playing against the Pope and his infallibility. But at this point, it kind of has to come up because there's just a lot of games that are not all that. Can you please, before we get out of this segment, talk about LSU, give me any explanation why Kentucky, that eked by Toledo, is only catching 8.5 points against Ole Miss?
I can't, and that scares me, Hunt. That scares me.
Vegas missed.
They usually
There's a reason why I'm worth billions and billions of dollars and Vegas is broke.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
I think it's the other way around.
Okay. Well, they still missed on this one.
Maybe
They may be bankrupt. There may be some sportsbook that have to close based on that line.
That
Zach Calzada?
See, you know what?
Come on, man.
The line that I think makes sense that should be this one is the Oregon or Oklahoma State line.
Yeah.
Oregon is favored by like 28 points, and they're going to be. And Mike Gundy said some dumb stuff about them. Like they're gonna score 70 on Oklahoma State. Ole Miss might score 70 on Kentucky.
I mean, you think Kiffin's got an axe to grind on that one? His whole team from last year's gone.
They are.
He doesn't
but
care.
I'm sure he's made them aware of what happened last year. And
Kentucky is atrocious.
They're very bad.
My God. Okay. That's it for SEC picks against the number. We'll grade them out coming out on Monday. What do I want to see from LSU Saturday night in Death Valley? We'll talk about it coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Corks, Cajun fried fish, and shrimp. I trust there are a few folks out there who are making Corks part of their tailgate on campus tomorrow. That's the way to do it. Catfish is awesome. It's crispy. It doesn't taste fishy. It's great. The shrimp are huge. And their recipe was born right here in the seafood capital of the world, South Louisiana. If you're one of those folks, and I understand it, I have pride in my home state as well and in our cuisine. You're thinking, I love seafood. I'm not going through a drive-through for my seafood in Louisiana. This is not rural Kansas. Try once. Try Corks once. And you will know, oh, look, these guys do know what they're doing. They're from Louisiana, roots in Louisiana, and they know how to fry up some seafood. It's Corks, Fish, and Shrimp. You can catch them online, corksfishandshrimp.com. Happy to cater. Not just tailgates, high school football tailgates, obviously talking about feeding the office, birthday parties, whatever the case may be. Corks can help you out with it. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parrishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parrishbuilt.com.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, LSU and Louisiana Tech tomorrow night inside Tiger Stadium, 6:30 kick. We'll be on the air 1:30, Eagle 98.1 game day, 4:30 for the official LSU Sports Radio Network pregame show. So lock us in all day long on Eagle tomorrow. Some things I want to see in this game. I mean, you're talking about a Louisiana Tech team that's got Trey Kukuk at quarterback, who went to something called Candlewood or Saddlewood College or something like that last year. I intentionally don't know the name of it, but you're talking about a guy who's played at Saddlewood College for a couple of years and then played against Southeastern Louisiana last week in front of 6,000 people. Tomorrow's going to suck for him. It's going to be a bad deal because Tech did not score a point for the first 29 minutes and 59 seconds of the game last weekend against an FCS school. They kicked a field goal right before the half. They managed 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, and then their defense had an 80-yard fumble return for a touchdown last week against Southeastern. So that's how they got to their 24 points. But it was not a good offensive effort. This is not a good program under Sonny Cumbie. They were 5-8 last year and got into a bowl game because Marshall couldn't come down because they didn't have any players. It's a bad program. It's a bad team, and LSU's going to annihilate Louisiana Tech. So what are we looking at in this game? Well, there are a couple things I want to see. I want to start with the offensive line. I need to see Carius Kern play. I need to see him play tackle, and I need to see him play tackle well. And I would prefer if he played left tackle. You saw last week when Tyree Adams went down. LSU went to DJ Chester at tackle, and I understand the thinking. He's a veteran. He started a whole season on the offensive line. He knows the protections because he called them out as a center. He is 6'6", and it was just a safe guy to put in the game. But you also saw him get beat right off the edge immediately. DJ Chester is not a tackle in the SEC on a championship level team. And I don't know if Carius Kern is or not, but I'd like to see him get a shot. And if you figure that you don't see, if you can stay healthy for the Florida game, you've got your 5 that you're going to play up front, maybe 6, rotating left guard. But then you've got another opportunity to get some more work for Kern against Southeastern the next week. I need some reps for him because I need at some point in this season for the coaching staff to feel good enough to put him in a game. And maybe he's not there yet. Like, I haven't seen a ton from him at practice. He missed the last week of practice. We just know that he was working as a second-team left tackle and then went to compete with Weston Davis at right tackle with about 2 weeks to go before the game. And so they obviously thought enough of him to put him in there to compete with Weston Davis at right tackle. I'm not suggesting that him dominating Louisiana Tech is indicative of the fact that he can go out there and play against Oklahoma or Texas A&M, but he needs to get reps because clearly that is going to help him. So I'm looking at Carius Kern in this game to come in and play very well on the offensive line to give the coaches confidence to keep developing him for some depth on the offensive line. You can't go through a full season with an entirely healthy offensive line. It's just not going to happen. LSU was fortunate to keep Emory Jones and Will Campbell healthy the last few years. Miles Frazier was healthy last year, so was Chester, but Dellinger went down and missed a month. Like an offensive line, you're going to have injuries. They're big guys. They're in collisions on literally every play. They get rolled up on. Ankles are in trouble. They got to wear those big knee braces. Like, you're going to have offensive linemen go down. You need some guys to step up on the offensive line, and I think Kern is the guy that I point to first and foremost to be some depth at tackle. So I'll be looking at him. This is the obvious one. We talked about it a little bit this week, but I'll emphasize it in this point. You've got to stretch the field a little bit this year. They did not do it last year. They have the guys to do it this year. They've talked about it. I didn't need it a ton last week. They called a brilliant game last week. You didn't have time to sit Garrett Nussmeier back in the pocket and have long developing routes down the field against that pass rush. So we told you this all August. They worked tirelessly on the short passing game and the screen game when we were out there at practice. It was every day for a full period, wide receiver screens, middle screens, getting the ball in the perimeter with the wide receiver and the running backs. Like, just constant. And you saw it in the game. You saw Aaron Anderson work in the middle for a screen. They tried one to Bauer Sharp and got him involved. They tried to throw it to Chris Hilton on the 4th down play. They're going to work the screen game, and that's part of the offense, and I like that. I like getting the ball quickly out to some really explosive wide receivers. But against Tech, your offensive line can hold up. And we know Nussmeier can throw the deep ball, and we know Berrien Brown can run it, and we know Chris Hilton can run it, and I want to see Nick Anderson running it. And I'm not suggesting bombs away from the beginning of the game. I want you to run the offense. I want you to run the ball, and I want you to work the quick game and matriculate the ball down the field, to use that bad cliche. But at times, take some shots. Set it up, 2nd and 2, you want to do that, great. You see a good spot, 1st and 10, where you like a look, great. You want to max protect and make sure Nussmeier has a minute and then take that shot, great. Because you've got a situation here where even if they do get free and get a sack on you, even if you do throw a deep ball that gets picked, either way, like, you're fine. You're going to beat Tech anyway. So I want to see some things on tape in the deep passing game. I realize they're going to want to have some of that in the toolbox for Florida, and you're not going to expose everything you want to do. But I'd like to see the ball stretch down the field a little bit because they've got an explosive group that can do it. And one thing that I think is important to realize is when you do that well, when you consistently show that you've got top-end speed at wide receiver and that your quarterback can hit that deep ball, and you can scare defensive coordinators to an extent that they don't want to be real aggressive to come up, it just helps your running game and your offensive line. Helps you in the numbers game in the box. So I want to see, for sure, LSU get the ball down the field. And then I mentioned at the top of this segment, Kukuk, the quarterback for Tech. He's not very big. His numbers last week against Southeastern are not very good. But he is a pretty good athlete. And he ran the ball 18 times last week. Let me reiterate here. Be very, very demonstrative and clear. Trey Kukuk is not Lenora Sellers or Marcel Reed. He's not John Mateer, okay? I'm not trying to make that comparison. But assignments are assignments. And I am confident that LSU's pass rush and front four are going to cause real problems for Tech. And Kukuk's going to do what he did at Saddleback or Camelwood or wherever he went to college.
Saddleback College.
I intentionally don't know the name of that. But wherever he ran a lot. And last week against Southeastern, he ran a lot. You need linebackers prepared to stop that. And I think it's a good mental rep for those guys that turns into a physical rep to realize I need to stay in my assignment. I need to realize that this quarterback can break contain when something breaks down, and I need to go make a play in space. And I think it's always better to do that against a lesser opponent before you've got to do it against the best opponents you will play to get you in that rhythm. It's why a lot of teams that played Georgia Tech on Paul Johnson days might put another option team on their schedule before that. So maybe if you're playing Navy, you've got a game against Georgia Southern set up in that day when they were running the triple option. You do it against somebody that runs a triple option so that when you get a better version of it down the road, you're prepared for it. This is a bit of a reach, I understand, but I don't want to see Kukuk, get loose and run for a couple of 25-yard gains. Be disciplined, use your eyes, and go get a scrambling quarterback. Trust me, he's going to be on the run because LSU's front four is going to whip Tech up front. Absolutely whip them. And there's nothing to do for Kukuk at that point but get out and run. Go make the plays when that's got to happen. And then last, special teams. Tech has a poor kickoff specialist. Doesn't have a huge leg. Listen to guest on Matt's show earlier this week. Talk about that. And you're going to have opportunities to run kickoffs back. Have some fun. That's why we go to these games, to watch LSU do some exciting things. There's not going to be a lot of drama involved. LSU's going to handle business in this game pretty easily. Let's see some fireworks. So in a short kickoff, get everything blocked up. Let Xavion Thomas, let Berrien Brown, let whoever it is back there. We saw in practice a couple weeks ago was Berrien Brown and Tamarcus Cooley back there who's doing the blocking for him. Let's see a kickoff return for a touchdown. It's something that we didn't see for like 35 years. I'll have to ask Condon Biggest fan of the show, by the way, Richard Conn. And I'll have to ask him how long it was between.
He really enjoys our show.
He loves the show. Listens every day. Big supporter of everything that we do here on the Hunt Palmer Show. Really enjoys my social media presence as well. So I'm sure he's locked in and can tell me immediately what the year disparity was between the kickoff return touchdowns. But you might see one in the game tomorrow. I'm very, very, very much looking forward to getting out on campus tomorrow, doing the pregame show, getting into the stadium, and watching the Tigers come into a crowd that's fired up about what happened last week as opposed to very melancholy about another loss. So Louisiana Tech happens to be on the wrong end of that. Not our fault. Come on in, collect your check. It's over $1 million and get on back to Ruston. We'll see. But it should be a good night for the Tigers in Tiger Stadium for the home opener tomorrow. 6:35, I think, is first pitch, is kickoff for Tigers in Tiger Stadium. All right, we got 30 minutes to go. Hope your Friday's going well. We're brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. When we come back, we'll play some Take It or Leave It, do some football theme for the weekend, and then my final pick for LSU and Tech, as well as the Saints and the Cardinals coming up to close out the show right here on this Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Been a busy one thus far. Chatted with Preston Guy in hour number 1. Got you set up for the NFL weekend to come. Little Saints Cardinals chatter. Certainly some LSU Louisiana Tech as we are getting close to that weekend. Hopefully you're already off the clock. If not, we'll get you to the finish line. We're live and local all day long on Fridays during football season. Off the bench 7 to 10 a.m. from Rouse's on Burbank. You got live at lunch 10 to 1 from Rufino's, my show right here from inside studio 1 to 3. AFR, Matt Moscona 3 to 6, and then Cade Wassan 6 to 6:45. Louisiana Prep preview before Catholic High football on the airwaves around 6:45 until they are done. That's a local day from 7 a.m. all the way through about 9 p.m. here on ESPN Baton Rouge. 2 more orders of business, certainly my picks for the LSU and Saints games coming up. But for right now, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Big shout out David Bailey. Big shout out Jeff Morgan. Big shout out Al DeLuca. Going to be a great weekend for those 3 gentlemen because right at the top of the show we gave away 3 cases of Flight by Yingling, and they were the winners. I'm told 2 of those cases are gone. 1 remains. We'll see when that one gets scooped up over the course of the next hour and a half. But Flight by Yingling, awesome for your tailgate, awesome for watching some football, awesome for these hot Louisiana months. You're looking for a light beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
Alrighty, first one, the Walker Cup at Cypress Point. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to take it.
I'll take it.
I don't want to say too much because people will not like what I have to say.
Whoa.
But I'm going to be watching.
Okay, well, what?
I'm going to watch that on Sunday instead of the NFL. That's going to make everyone want to throw things through their radio or break a television or tell me that I'm an idiot. It's one Sunday. I'm going to have the Saints on as well. But I'm watching the Walker Cup because of that golf course. It's so awesome.
Yep.
And I would suggest 94% of our listenership has no idea what the Walker Cup is, and that's okay. You're not going to be watching this weekend. I'm going to be watching Cypress Court. Incredible golf course. It's never on television. Can't wait to watch it.
Yes, it is never on television. It used to be a long time ago. Not anymore. Hasn't been for a long time.
Are you aware of the 16th hole at Cypress?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I know, Hunt, come on. Like,
I mean,
you know, I know golf. All right. Like, what are we talking? It's probably the best par 3 in the world.
Well, it's 235 yards over. It's off a cliff over water. I don't know how they why the designer. It was Mackenzie, and then it was this woman whose name I can't recall. Building that golf course in the 20s or whenever they did, and it's starting with a wound golf ball and basically a plastic club.
And they thought that
they
was
could
a
hit
good
a golf
idea.
ball that far on a par 3 was ridiculous, but they did it.
They did. All right, next one. Myers man will enjoy more concession items than touchdowns while in attendance. I feel like this is an easy one. Take it or leave it.
So you got to know the Myers man to get this one.
All right.
He may not stay the whole game.
Oh, yeah.
But this is his first game ever. We're very excited about that. There's going to be a chicken tender basket involved.
At least.
That's 25 minutes right there with one item. I think LSU's going to score a lot of touchdowns. There's going to be ice cream involved, no doubt. There's going to be lemonade involved, no doubt. Beyond that, maybe something else. But you're looking at like 4 concession items.
That's a lot.
I think LSU's going to get 5 or 6 touchdowns. So I'm going to take the touchdown side of it. But the concessions are sure to meet their match.
I'm surprised by that, but maybe if you combined a few of those concession ventures, then maybe you could get there.
It depends if LSU pulls a like A&M last week and plays like garbage and he leaves at halftime, he can knock all 4 of those out before halftime. And if LSU doesn't have 4 touchdowns on the board, it could happen.
That's true.
Although he did stay up all the way through the game last Saturday, and he wouldn't let his mom put him to bed. So they may stay the whole time. We'll see.
They're playing. Hopefully, we'll see if they're the red team though. That's the real question.
Oh, we forgot about that. I'm often like, people really do listen to the things that I say, which I guess is good, but could also be bad.
Could be.
When Tech put their red jerseys on Twitter this week,
they were listening.
I got like 7 tweets about and a couple of DMs about the Myers man. For those that are completely unfamiliar, Myers watches LSU on YouTube. They're all last year's games. USC wore red that he saw. Then Nichols wore red, and Ole Miss wore red. And so he always associates LSU and the red team as the 2 teams. So when he's playing in the living room, he's LSU and I'm the red team.
Yeah.
And so I was really hoping that Tech would wear red, although I didn't think it was possible they could wear blue or white if LSU went purple. Well, Tech is wearing red. That's going to be very good for the Myers man. He will be oriented very perfectly to see what's going on the field, because the red team, we don't like the red team.
All right, next one. New voice of Tiger Stadium, Dixon McMakin, will say chance of rain never. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
We got a little bit of
we did get some intel.
A little intel there on the air yesterday. Had him on the show, and he was talking about what he's going to, because I was talking to him like, Dan Bournet's been the voice the whole time in Dixon's life too. He doesn't remember anything before that. So I was just curious if that was going to continue, and he was like, well, you'll just have to see. I think he's going to continue that. I will be honest. Like, we're here to be honest and to be forthcoming, not to withhold things. Not my favorite LSU tradition, because I've sat.
It rains a lot,
while
actually.
It rains in there.
It does rain pretty frequently.
I understand the John Ed Bradley quote. I get it, where it came from and all that. But I think you will hear it tomorrow.
Yeah, you will. All right, next one. Kyler Murray will outrush Kendre Miller. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it.
Okay, all right.
I think Kendre goes for 45, 50 yards.
You don't think Kyler's going to at least that?
I don't think Kyler will get that.
I mean, how many times have we seen the Saints struggle against a running QB, huh?
It's the Dennis Allen defense. Give me a new Brandon Staley defense.
Oh, yeah, that's going to change it all.
Give me
safeties
that are better positioned. Look, I think that is a reasonable prop bet. I think that the Saints are going to try to lessen the load on Alvin Kamara. They cannot do what they did last year. I know everybody was hurt, and that's tough, and you were trying to sign Clyde in the middle of the season to try, and his ribs were broken. They cannot do what they did last year. Kamara needs 17 touches, 15 touches. Give Kendre the other 10. As long as the offensive line is functional, I think he can do it. So I think Kendre Miller gets 7 or 8 carries, couple of rushes, maybe of catches, maybe pops one. So give me Kendre over Kyler Murray.
All right, next one. More people in Tiger Stadium in the fourth quarter on Saturday than the Superdome on Sunday. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave that. That's easy.
That's very easy.
Yeah, I don't think that the game's going to be all that close.
Superdome is like 73,000, I think.
And I think the Saints will keep it close. Like I said, I'll give my pick at the end here, but I think the Saints will keep it close. I realize that there's not going to be a sellout crowd in the Dome. And I realize that LSU fans are very excited, but that place is going to absolutely clear out at halftime.
There's going to be at least 60,000 in the Superdome, I think.
I was thinking in the fourth quarter of the Superdome.
Oh, okay.
And I think that
it'll be close.
Tiger Stadium will have 6,000 at the end. The Saints will have closer to 45, 50.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't think it'll be all that close.
All right, next one. Spitting on an opponent. Take it or leave it.
That's a tough scene. I think you got to leave it alone. And I get the whole Dak spit first on the ground, whatever. Jalen Carter makes bad decisions. That is a proven
There's evidence.
He was bad decisions at Georgia, bad decisions with the Eagles. He is a phenomenal. He's probably one of the top 20 football players on earth. And the Eagles know what they were getting into when they drafted him. But he's going to make bad decisions moving forward. He's just a bad decision maker, and that was a ridiculously bad decision. That whole macho thing and respect thing that goes on the field that costs. I mean, I was with Dak. Dak's I just thought we were going to get 15 yards. I didn't know he was going to get ejected. I don't even want to go up to 15 yards. It's so ridiculous. But that's just par for the course of Jalen Carter. He's a bad decision maker. That's going to continue.
All right, next one. I mentioned this a little bit during the SEC picks against the spread, but Mike Gundy took a little bit of a dig at Oregon's NIL spending, saying, they have $40 million, we have $7 million. The Ducks will run up the score on Oklahoma State. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I don't admittedly know as much about this Oregon team as the one last year.
I don't really either.
Do I know that his defense is good enough to go out there and just clamp down Oklahoma State? I think it is, but it's possible that Oklahoma State's pretty well coached. They score some points, and that they
didn't win a conference game last year.
They did not, but you never. It's the year-to-year
It is,
portal, all
it
that kind of
is.
stuff. Last year's team would have run the score up, no doubt. Dylan Gabriel, that defense, absolutely. This team may be a little bit different, but if I had to guess the score, I would guess something in the neighborhood of 49-14 or something.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. All right, last one real quick. The Shark Dogs on the money line, minus 105.
Wow.
Betting on 3-year-old soccer.
On the
Let's
money
go.
line.
Take it or leave it.
Look, I've seen every play of
Yeah.
the Shark Dogs
Yeah.
season thus far. Got a pretty good scouting report on the team. They had a practice yesterday.
What do we got?
Not a lot of tears at practice. I think
That's
that's a good
good.
week
That's
of prep.
very good.
So look, I don't know who we're playing. I don't know how old they are.
It doesn't matter.
That hurts in the handicapping. I'll take the Shark Dogs.
I'll take
them.
I mean, they were +5 last week, and
They dominated last week.
that
The
game.
Shark Dogs dominated last week.
Look, the Shark Dogs have Myers Palmer. He is an absolute force on the pitch, Hunt. He is going to score at least 5 goals.
I would love it if he scored 5 goals. His grandparents are going to be there to watch, so we'll see if the lights are too bright in the morning.
Look, you got to get him a headband, though, Hunt. That hair is all over the place.
And look, where's the focus? Because he's going to the football game for the first time.
That's true.
Is this
Maybe
a
he's going to
look-ahead
be.
spot for the Shark
He
Dogs?
might be a little just like out of it after that game.
It's 3-year-old soccer. You got to handicap this thing. I'll take the Shark Dogs.
I will too.
I don't know who they're playing.
Hammer the money line.
So we'll see
Hammer
how that
it.
goes. But certainly, full report coming up on Monday's show for the Shark Dogs. So we'll see. They're 1-1 on the season. Although if Myers asks me if they won, I just say absolutely. So he thinks that they're probably 2-0, but he doesn't really get scores, just winners and losers. We'll see how the Shark Dogs do. 9 o'clock in the morning on the pitch.
Oh yeah, perfect. It'll be nice and cool.
We got one segment to go. That's our picks, so we'll do it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. 3 years, complimentary valet maintenance. 3 years, complimentary valet maintenance. That's part of being a Genesis driver. So if you buy that new Genesis, you're thrilled with it, you got your scheduled maintenance, got to take care of the car, got to get the oil changed, got to deal with the air filters, wiper fluid, things of that nature that are just kind of a nuisance when you think about it, can derail your morning. Not a nuisance at all, Genesis Baton Rouge. You call the dealership up and say, hey, I'm at this many miles. We got to get the maintenance done. Perfect. They come to you, drop you off a loaner, take your car in, handle all the maintenance, complimentary, bring it back to you. That's part of the experience. They also have valet test drives. So if you don't want to go to the dealership and you'd like to test drive from your home or your work during a busy day, they can do that as well. The staff is first rate. The facility is first rate. The line of vehicles is phenomenal. The entire line. IHA top safety picks. You're driving one of the safest cars on the road when you're in a Genesis. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. That is the Genesis promise to you. Go by and see them. Airline at PQ. Check out the inventory at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions And learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Up here, wrapping things up, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, presented by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. Yep, got a tailgate coming next weekend. Maybe you've already handled your food for this weekend. Big crew coming in for the Florida game next week. Corks, happy to help you out catering that tailgate. Check them out online, corksfishandshrimp.com. All right, last order of business every week is to pick the LSU and Saints games. I'll start with LSU because that one is all but decided. The Saints game, a little bit more drama, promises to be afoot on Sunday. So as I said to start the show today, I think a lot of this LSU team, obviously the statement they made on a national stage last week was impressive. I think the talent level on this team is really good. I think the coaching staff on this team is really good. And I just love the way that they're approaching things from a practice perspective, the way that they played last week, and then the things that I'm hearing from this team about their togetherness and their brotherhood and about their commitment and about their process and about 1-0. And I get it. It's easy to say that when you're on top and when you're winning games, and your testing gets done when you're when things go wrong, and very little went wrong last week for LSU. But I believe this team is going to come out on Saturday night and just play a great game against Louisiana Tech. Last year in this spot, home opener, in-state team, lower level, coming off that big national stage. Even though it was a loss, this is a win. You saw a big letdown, and Wes Weeks told us that on Wednesday. Like we didn't have that edge. And everything you've heard from the players and the head coach this week has suggested they are locked in and ready to play. So I think they make life miserable on Louisiana Tech's offense. It would not surprise me at all if Louisiana Tech did not score in this game. I've got them scoring 3 points in this game, and I think LSU's offense hums. I think the running game gets going, hits some explosive plays, and I do think that LSU will be able to get the ball down the field. I think that is going to be part of this offense. We did not see that from them in the game against Clemson. I think that was by design. I do not think they wanted to put Garrett Nussmeier in harm's way with a pass rush. I don't think that they wanted to put that onus on the offensive line. They wanted to keep things close to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be part of this offense too. But I think they were very, very conservative from a depth perspective passing the football by design last week. I think that changes this week. There's going to be more time for Nussmeier to survey the field and get the ball down the field. I like LSU huge in this game. I like LSU 48-3 to beat Louisiana Tech, move to 2-0, get ready for Florida coming in next week. All right, with the Saints, I talked about this game a little bit at the end of hour number one. I do think the Saints have a chance to keep this game very close because I believe the Cardinals to be right in the middle of the NFL. I don't think they're one of the 4 or 5 worst teams. I know they're not one of the 4 or 5 best teams. So this gives me a good barometer on what this Saints team is right now compared to the middle of the NFL. And I'm hopeful that they can keep it competitive. I think that the defense should be able to handle itself against the Arizona team that doesn't have great wide receiver play. Marvin Harrison was underwhelming last year. And they got to try to keep Kyler Murray contained, but they know that. And Brandon Staley knows that. And I think they'll do a decent job of that. My concern is, one, Chase Young not being on the field, which he's not going to be. And two, my concern is the Saints offense stalling in time of possession, getting out of whack, and the Saints defense being asked to do too much. The Saints offense is going to be different than it was in the preseason. The Saints are going to show some things they did not show when the games didn't count. And I'm hopeful that benefits Spencer Rattler, along with having Eric McCoy out there and having Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave out there and having Alvin Kamara out there. I think that this game gets in the middle of the third quarter pretty competitive. I just don't know if I trust the Saints to hold on, and I don't know that I trust the Saints offense to make plays when it has to late. So maybe the Cardinals score a late touchdown to put it out of reach. I've got this one 27-16. The Cardinals beat the Saints in the Dome to start the season. We'll see. Our broadcast schedule tomorrow, 1:30, Eagle 98.1 Game Day from Rouse's on Burbank. 4:30, LSU Sports Radio Network pregame show, me, Brandon, and Marlon. Then the broadcast of the game starting at 6:30. 30 minutes after it goes final, we'll have your LSU Sports Radio Network postgame show. 90 minutes after the score goes final, Charles Haniger, Richard Dixon, right here in the studio, taking your phone calls on the Eagle 98.1 postgame show. That's it for us here on this Football Friday. If you missed any of the show today, catch it on demand. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. Matt's about to drive you home to kick that weekend off. I'm out of here. Go enjoy campus tomorrow. We'll see you Monday for another edition of The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles.